Hello, welcome back to Core Finance. I'm Matt Brown. I'm joined by Craig Erlam, who is a senior analyst, market analyst, I should say, at Oanda. Thank you for joining us today, Craig.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the Aussie dollar. Yeah, it's been an interesting one technically. Just talk us through this chart. Slightly different from the Kiwi dollar. We did a video earlier on. What's going on here?
Well, we haven't quite seen the full unwinding of the positions, I think, is the key one from this chart. It looks like there is potential for a lot more downside to come here. Purely technically speaking, it always depends on how you look at these things. For example, you could look at this and say, well, we've got an imperfect double top that formed around the July through September period, in which case we could be looking at a projected move back to around these kind of 75 levels, and I think that's very possible. On an also imperfect scale, you could be looking at this and we've got a very slanted head and shoulders pattern, which could indicate a much broader retracement well beyond 75, or much broader downside beyond 75. I think a breakthrough 77 and things start to look a little bit worrying here for the Aussie dollar pair, and I think it's highly plausible that 75 is very much on the cards. We do have the 200 and 233 day simple moving average coming into play here, providing possible support. But to be honest, if we break through 77, we are taking out a very long-term price resistance. So from a technical standpoint, that's a very strong technical breakout. It would continue the move from the possible double top, or it could trigger the initial move from a possible imperfect slanted head and shoulders. So I think the downside potential here through 77 could be quite significant. And again, as I've said in the previous two videos, that'd be very in keeping with my belief that we are going to see a strong end to the year for the greenback. So it's always nice when you're talking about a few charts and the theme is always consistent. It does give you a little bit more confidence in the moves, and I think this is one where 77 breaks and it's looking quite negative for this chart.
Understood. Looks like a short Aussie dollar into the end of the year. On that note, Craig, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.